Back at home, feeling misunderstood. In between these ears ain't nothing good.
This episode of the Far End of the Bench podcast is brought to you by this Unhinged Sports Network. And we're partnered with Fubo TV and Fanatics. And now, High Alpine Brewing Company. Lots of great stuff coming forward. We'll talk about what we got going on Friday a little bit later. But, Jimmy, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with the Rocky stuff. We had to talk about Super Bowl all last week. It kind of broke our week up when we had to talk about Nolan. But here we are. Now we basically don't have a baseball team. I mean, you're a Yankees fan, so you have at least something to cheer for. But I don't know where to go from here now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for you only having the Rockies as a baseball team experience. You should have jumped. I mean, if you jumped on the Diamondbacks bandwagon while you were out in Arizona, it would have been just as bad.
Yeah, but at least they have direction.
At least they have direction, and their fans weren't holding a memorial service at the stadium. It was totally. I mean. Boycott Rockies was trending on Twitter last week. Also, fire Bridich. They finally did put fire with Bridich. That's just whole. And then the way that they came out and handled the media attention afterwards, it was just
the posting interview was the worst thing I've ever seen. You said all the wrong things. It just went from bad to worse. Saying we still feel like we can win games. No, you
can win like 30 games, maybe.
Yeah,
at most.
Like you're saying, this team can still win games. This team will. Trevor Story is a part of this team's future. Well, that's not.
I don't trust that.
I don't trust that at all.
No.
I mean, if your Story, like I said last week when I put him as my bench over the week, unfortunately, the dude lost all of his friends. He's alone now. It's gone to bad and worse than the Rockies organization, but bad to terrible.
Yeah.
It couldn't be worse.
And then I saw an article that actually got put out last night on Facebook and. The way that they set up the franchise, the Rockies are taking the biggest hit out of this COVID situation because you don't go to the Rockies games to see them win. You go to the Rockies games to go to the venue.
Yeah.
And now they can't have fans at the venue. They're just losing as much money as possible as the puppy's going nuts on the bone here. But it's just like the front office has just as little of a way to go as they do on the field. It's not like they have a great system up front and then they just have a bad product on the field. It's almost like they're doing this intentionally.
Oh man, like I said, lowest payroll baseball already. You send $50 million, which add insult to injury.
I don't even know how you afford that if you're the lowest payroll.
The only revenue that was coming in for the Rockies was TV revenue, which people aren't going to watch.
We can't even, and that's part of the blackouts now with altitude.
Exactly, and ticket sales. No, who the hell's jersey am I going to buy if Story's gone? Like it's just there's no thought process behind any of this. Like I said last week, at least there are positives in the Holiday and the Tulo trade because we got great pieces in return that turned out to be all-stars in Cargo and Trevor Story in return. Now there's no one deal. Back at ground zero with no bright spot at all.
No, and they don't even have, like the Kings have been the Sacramento Kings, you're wearing your Jason Kidd jersey.
White chocolate jersey, yeah.
But they at least, I mean, they were down for a while, but then they come back. The Bengals have been down for the last few years. But they're about to come back, so at least there's hope that at some point they'll figure it out, but they're not going to figure it out with the front office that they have now. And that's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. It is what it is.
Let's move on. Follow us on social media at FEOTBpod, and you can find all the links to our partnerships and stuff. Like Niko said, High Alpine Brewing Company is our new one. I think I put in the High Alpine spot. If not, you'll hear it in this episode when we get to the ad break. But we're going down there, Gunnison, Colorado, Friday, February 12th. Come out and say hi.
Going back to Jimmy's old stomping grounds.
Yeah, my Gunnison, Colorado, where I got my degree in communications and sociology, and I'm not using either of those things right now. But we're going back down there. We're going to record an episode live from the brewery, so come out and you can kind of see our setup and how we get things rolling, and then we'll also got some merchandise.
Yeah, merch, stickers, all that good stuff. Come drink a beer with us. We got a lot of fun things planned for when we go down there. We haven't decided whether this is going to be a bonus show or it'll be the show next week. Depending on how everything goes, we'll figure it all out. But we'll relay all that information to you guys. But it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're in the West, if you want to come get a shirt, you got to come get us. And I know it's a drive for all of our friends down here in Denver. But
all our listeners up in Gunnison, it's just right down the street.
Exactly. So we're gonna be doing a lot of fun things there. You guys will not want to miss it.
Yeah, and they're going to be involved with a lot of our stuff moving forward. When we do launch our official merch lines, it'll be High Alpine will be involved, and you'll start seeing us pop up on there social media as well. And once we get our swag, I'm probably never going to do another podcast without a High Alpine Brewing hat.
I know, I'm excited.
Oh, hey.
And our friend up there is going to hook us up with some swag, and I'm going to rep it all the way down here all the time. So, High Alpine Brewing Company, follow them on Instagram.
Yeah,
I don't know if they have Twitter. I don't think they have a Twitter.
They do have a Twitter. I found it a couple times, but they're bigger on Instagram and Facebook, so that's where you can find most of their stuff. We'll be there starting around 1 p.m. We're going to leave here earlier in the morning and then get there around 1. So come out and say hi. We'll hang out and drink beer and all that good stuff. We'll have Cash App, Venmo, and we'll take cash. And then are we going to get a card or?
Yeah, looks like we'll probably get a card swiper as well. So if you guys don't have those, you can swipe the card. We're figuring out all those details as we get to Friday. Yeah. Because this isn't our job. You gotta remember that we're figuring this out how we go.
So this will be the very first little bit of money that we've been able to see from this show. So we appreciate it and hope to see a lot of you guys out there when we do go to Gunnison. I'm sure it'll be cold. Be sure to pack warm.
I'm probably gonna be skiing on Saturday right after, so I'll pack warm. Don't you worry.
No, yeah, and it'll be very similar. Like, I'm interested to see what you think of it because it's a mountain town like Vail, except it's not as fancy.
It's not Vail.
No, it's not Vail. I mean, we could go up to Crested Butte, and Crested Butte and Vail are pretty similar, but it's definitely not anything like what you're used to. So, and I'm
excited for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That's for sure.
All right, let's go ahead. And I've been kind of not wanted. I thought let's just skip over. Football season didn't happen. It's hockey season right now. I'm Canadian. I'm an adopted Canadian. I'm sure Ken
the Friends of the Beach connection. They adopt you into the Canadian heritage.
I'm sure they'll adopt me. I live on my own now so it's not like they're taking on a mouth to feed. But Tom Brady won a Super Bowl again. 7 Super Bowls, more than any other franchise.
Jimmy, let me cut you off. Devin White, Ryan Jensen, and Shaq Barrett won the Super Bowl. Yeah. Let's put it that way. First of all, let's talk about the positives in this. First of all, Broncos fans, this could have happened, mate. This weekend couldn't have gone any better for you. Peyton Manning, Hall of Famer. We'll talk about it a little bit. John Lynch, Hall of Famer. Your in-division rivals, like Mr. B. Pat Bowlen said, you don't ever root for success for your division rivals in the Super Bowl. Ever. And look what happened. I mean, what we saw on Sunday with what the Buccaneers did, I said it right to the point. If the Chiefs don't get touchdowns and the Buccaneers force them to kick field goals, what's going to happen? They ran through them. And what a performance by this whole team, top to bottom. This team, I was saying it all year that the Chiefs' offense is the best in probably football history, and they did not show up at all.
They didn't score a touchdown.
They didn't score a touchdown. He was the only reason I won money on Sunday.
He had like 68 yards receiving, but I felt bad because my cousin put down money on him scoring a touchdown because it was between him and Mike Evans where they prop bet, and I was like, Travis Kelce's 100% to get a touchdown with Patrick Mahomes. Nope, that didn't happen yesterday. No, it just...
Either way, like you said, although Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, you got to take the positives with this. It's a new team in the mix. The Buccaneers haven't won a Super Bowl since the early 2000s. Yeah. It's a cool story seeing what Gronk was able to do. Gronk did not do a whole lot this season.
No.
And him coming back, he was hosting WrestleMania this time last year. He was off the street. He was doing nothing. He came back and performed for 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. That's cool. I must not hate the Patriots. I hate the Patriots. It's not the Patriots way. It's the Tom Brady way. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. This takes away a lot of success that they thought they had in the franchise. It definitely proves all that wrong. Did you see that Gronk came out and said that he was cheating his conditioning tests in the summer? He would run it all on one day, but then he'd film in different shirts so that he could send them video that makes it look like he was running.
That's Gronk for you. If he's putting up numbers like that for me in the Super Bowl, I can care less what the conditioning looks like after.
Well, that's true. He didn't show up until the Super Bowl, but Tom Brady always finds him when he has him available because he made the big play when
he trusts him. He's trusted him his whole career.
Yeah.
In the biggest stage, Godwin and Mike Evans weren't the key targets. It was Antonio Brown, funny enough, and then Gronk. I know you didn't like that very much.
That pissed me off. Antonio Brown got a touchdown. That's not good.
It is what it is, but what it really pisses off is Steelers fans. And Steelers fans knowing what you had, because Le'Veon Bell didn't even touch the field.
Yeah.
And what Antonio Brown did in the Super Bowl, and this is what you had on your team. Steelers fans should be pissed.
Steelers fans definitely have a right to be. It makes me happy that you have a right to be pissed. I don't like it because And it would have been the same if the Chiefs won. When you have guys like Antonio Brown, who actually still has lawsuits pending against him, none of that stuff is like gone or anything like that. It's still a matter of time before he gets actually either brought to whatever justice is needed. But guys like that and guys like Tyreek Hill, where you've had multiple incidents where they've done stuff that looks bad on the league and the league wants to make a huge change to try and get it out, it just made you feel like that shouldn't be a part of the narrative on a game like that. It was an amazing feat. Like, Tom Brady now has more Super Bowls than any other franchise in history. Any other team has less Super Bowls than Tom Brady now.
That's true.
He is the greatest winner of all time. Greatest professional winner of all time. I don't think that can be... I mean, the guy is 43 years old, been to 10 Super Bowls, which is more than anybody by a long shot. Won 7 of them. That's a 70%... You take 70%, that gets you a degree in college.
Yeah, I mean...
What the hell is this?
Look, it's... I mean, as much as we hate on Brady and everything that it was, like, there's no doubt in my mind he's the GOAT now. Mm-hmm. I think the question is to be made is he is the GOAT in all sports. That's tough because football is a team sport, and you look at different sports like soccer or boxing or swimming, boxing, tennis, or winter sports, whatever it may be. It's kind of hard to make the GOAT there, but without a doubt, he's the best quarterback in NFL history. And give it hats off to Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles, and that great coaching staff, because they came ready with a game plan that said, you know what, we're going to let Tom Brady not only win us this game, but we're going to let our defense stop the opposing team offense and not let them do anything. And that's how they win Super Bowl. I mean, Patrick Mahomes did everything he could. Mm-hmm. He was not getting help from anything. The man was running back more times than I can count. I haven't seen a quarterback try to run that far back every single passing play since I don't even remember.
Playing Madden.
In Madden. I mean, maybe you can relate it to Cam Newton, but either against Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, but he had no time at all. JPP, Shaq Barrett, Domkinsu, Vita Vea, the list goes on and on. Those front four dominated the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Dominated the line of scrimmage.
And then it was just the front four because they were sitting back in a cover 2 shell the whole time, which is what we were kind of saying they needed to do because Tyreek Hill had 200 yards receiving in the first half in the first game.
I think it was the first quarter, but either way.
Yeah, or I can't even remember, but they did exactly what we thought they couldn't do, and that was keep everybody over the top of the defense. And you started to see, I mean, people were kind of iffy about when we were on NFL and Hinges, and you said, top to bottom, you think this Tampa Bay team is the better team because it's not 3 or 4 99 overalls, and then everybody else is like a 70 or an 85. It's all 90s, like JPP, Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett's one of the best pass rushers in the league, bar none. But whoever you want to compare him to, he's one of the top pass rushers in the league.
It brought a tear to my eye seeing the comparison of, I believe, the right tackle or the left tackle for the Chiefs that came in and replaced Eric Fisher was the same tackle for the Panthers. And there's a highlight of number 58 against, I forgot his name, against the guy in the Super Bowl. And both Shaq Barrett and Von Miller, same exact move, both got a sack on it. It was beautiful to see.
Yeah, it was. There's good things about that game, and honestly, it would have been interesting. I don't know if we mentioned this, but the Chiefs would have tied the Broncos in Super Bowl wins if they would have won last night, which I know a lot of Broncos fans were not happy about that possibility.
Still only two.
It was so interesting because it's almost like, I don't know if Andy Reid was distracted because of the stuff going on with his son. Obviously, that's even coming out and beginning to get worse than what we thought it was initially. And Eric Bieniemy, what he thought that he was going to step up, and he really, maybe there's a reason why he hasn't been picked up as a head coach, because that performance from that whole offense, it was almost like they weren't prepared, they weren't ready to play, or something like that.
I'm not going to say the whole offense. First of all, it's the front, it's the O-line, because Kelsey had, I believe it was over 100 yards receiving, because I did win that prop with that. I mean, it was Patrick Mahomes was just having to make plays with his legs because that O-line gave him no time.
Well, I mean, his receivers didn't help him out either.
Exactly. There was, I mean, I think it was
Tyreek Hill had to hit him in the face.
Yeah, it was either
and
Hill
so did Mecole Hardman.
Yeah, Hardman. I was going to say Hardman with the one I can remember vividly, but he had no help. It wasn't on Bieniemy. It was more no help at all from the O-line. None whatsoever. And the Buccaneers, defense wins championships. And that's exactly what the Buccaneers did. Yeah. If you hold a team to not score a touchdown and only have 9 points in a Super Bowl, you are 10 times out of 10 going to win that game. 10 times out of 10.
Well,
forcing an offense that's that good to be to be one-dimensional and make Patrick Mahomes plant his back foot and like throw off at an off angle, then you're gonna win football games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're like I said, if you're a Broncos fan, this is exactly how you beat this team. This is because this defense has been shaky all year. We thought Chris Jones and Tyrann Mathieu and Danny Sorensen were going to be the rock of this.
Tyrann Mathieu was the cause of all their issues.
Yeah, him barking at Brady, that was the worst thing you could have done. Poking at the bear, talking about barking up the wrong tree. He messed up big time. He caught a pick, threw off his helmet, got called back, and then Tom Brady threw a Gronk to a TD to play after. Yeah. I mean, you do not poke at Tom Brady and get him pissed off. Because the last thing you want to do is see Tom Brady bend it over, focused, pissed off, wanting to win another Super Bowl. Because that's bad news for everyone.
It is bad news for everybody. And I think it's interesting that Todd Bowles' defense was able to do so well. And then you think, maybe, how bad is that front office for New York? How bad is that front office for the Jets? Because Todd Bowles was their head coach. He was at one point the leader of that team.
Fired him for Adam Gase.
Yeah, they fired him for Adam Gase, which is another thing that we could talk about.
We could be talking about different Jets organization if they kept Bowles and did not hire Gase.
Probably. I think Saul was not in New York at that time. And Bowles, he struggled, but that was more roster because they had nobody. It's an interesting Super Bowl victory, too, for Tampa Bay because they are the most diverse coaching staff. I saw a stat today, both African-American coordinators. They have, I think, 3 full-time female coaches as well. So Bruce Arians, even though he came in and was an assistant to Paul Bear Bryant way back in the day.
Still crazy.
He is
still crazy.
He is very progressive, and it's finally, I feel the same way about Bruce Arians winning the Super Bowl this year that I felt about Andy Reid winning it last year. It's just good to see a guy that deserved it and has done this for so long finally break through. And this team was built. This Tampa Bay team was built to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yes.
Who knows about what's going to happen in the future? But this year they were going to go and make their biggest run at the championship, and they took advantage of it.
And they played their best game of the year in the most important game. Without a doubt, like if you look at this team on paper, it's the Tom Brady effect. It's the Tom Brady effect in full swing. This team last year with Jameis Winston was doing nothing, and then throw in Tom Brady and Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, who are already great receivers, turn into elite, and then also adding Gronk to partner up there with Tristan Wirfs. That's what look Tristan Wirfs, rookie left tackle, and he played his lights out. That's what I'm going to keep going back to it. That's what Packers should have done. At least do something along those lines that is effective right now because the Buccaneers didn't draft a quarterback at 13. They knew what they had.
Of the fight because we all know Kamaru Usman just gets better as the fight
goes. Yeah, Usman will try to trickle you down and try to impose his will for the whole fight. He's going to go 5 rounds. You'll hear about a beats the league a little bit later, what I picked for that. But he's going to try and impose his will. But Gilbert Burns has a great stamina as well. His last fight against... Oh, who was it?
I think it was Woodley.
It was either Woodley or Covington, where he just dominated top to bottom, and he was just all over him, or the whole fight, and just took over. And I think like I said, this is not a fight where Usman was able to go into that game bred fight and be like, you know what, he's not going to be able to last 5 rounds. Mm-hmm. There's no shot he would last 5 rounds and wins this fight. Well, now with Gilbert Burns, he can last 5 rounds and still come at you, keep coming. So that's going to play into Burns' game plan a little bit more. Do I think we see a knockout highlight reel? No, but don't be surprised if we see an upset here.
I don't know. Plus 220. It's not the most. It's a generous line because I think it should be a lot closer. So be sure to get. If you're listening to this Wednesday, I'm sure it'll already have moved. Mm-hmm. Be sure to get your bets in quick if you do feel good about Gilbert Burns because by the time this closes, I say that it probably closes around plus 110 or plus 115 because it's not that big of a gap between these two. Kelvin Gastelum fight, I wanted to talk about a little bit just because he did compete for the at least the interim title against Stylebender recently. That was one of the fights of that year. Yep. This Ian Heinisch.
Oh, hold on. Don't disrespect Ian Heinisch. Colorado guy.
I did not try to disrespect him. I just needed to figure out the pronunciation there.
I did not know Heinisch was on this card. Actually, no. Heinisch is from that Factory X team. He has a lot of good promise. I did not know he's on this card. That's going to be a lot more exciting now to look at. But Gastelum, I forgot. I think he fought one more time recently, but I forgot who against he was against. But he did win that fight, I'm pretty sure. But Heinisch is a stud.
Actually, he's on a 3-fight losing streak.
Oh,
Gaslam's on a 3-fight.
Who's he fought?
Adesanya, Till, and Hermanson.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that Jack Hermanson fight, though. The Joker Jack Hermanson.
He got submitted in the first round there. Split decision against Darren Till, lost, and then lost to Izzy in a unanimous decision.
Yeah, shoot, damn. I mean, I did not know Heinisch was on this card now, but don't be surprised because I think Gastelum is probably the betting favorite right now.
Minus 220, and then Heinisch is plus 180.
Yeah, I like the underdog here. I mean, Heinisch he's an up-and-comer.
14-3 record. This is kind of like a gatekeeper fight almost.
Yep.
They want to give him Kelvin Gastelum, who's in the top 10 rankings, but he's not as high as he was anymore, like around 9. Beat Kelvin Gastelum, you move up into that 8-9 spot. It's the same thing they did with Gilbert Burns at 170. It's just now they're doing it with Ian Heinisch at 185.
Yeah, Heinisch has a lot of great potential. Out of that Factory X, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see. This is like basically the best competition he's faced in his career, though. So now big test here. We haven't seen. I mean, Gaethje was the closest that we've had since another Colorado top fighter get to a belt. But I mean, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see a good card top to bottom. Heinisch, Gastelum, Micey Barber, Grasso, Maki Pitolo. There's another one. Another Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series guy. A guy that I watched on there that I like watching a lot.
13-7 is a salty record.
Yeah, that isn't the greatest. But then
he's been doing it for a minute.
And then you got Brian Kelleher, the dude with a huge I think it's like a Thor Mjolnir on his chest. Yeah, he's got a massive chest tattoo. I remember the only reason why I know that name is because he was like on like 10 different cards over the pandemic, like on fight nights. Like he was like he fought.
He just
like
kept
6
flying
times.
back and forth to Abu Dhabi.
He was like always on. He was the replacement fighter for half the fights during the pandemic, or during like the height of the UFC being the only sport on TV.
Good work if you can get it. I would say that I'd have to fly first class if I'm going back and forth that many times. You want to do most dominant team before we go to the break or after?
We can do it before.
Okay, let's do it before. My most dominant team of the week, Tampa Bay Lightning. 7-1-1 on the season, and they look just as dominant as they were last year. And this is like they're getting Stamkos back into play because Stamkos has won most dominant performer for them a couple times, and now they're just waiting for Nikita Kucherov to come back and then add him to that line. And we saw what Stamkos and Kucherov can do with each other. Add in Braden Point and Victor Hedman on the blue line. This Tampa Bay Lightning team is very scary moving forward once they get back to full strength.
I mean, like you said, Lightning are hitting on all cylinders.
I think they have the best point total in the league, and I could see them very easily winning the President's Trophy, even though it's this early on in the season.
Yeah, and it hurts to win that President's Trophy. So maybe they should have won the President's Trophy.
I think, didn't they win it last year?
Yeah, or it was.
It might have been the Bruins last year.
Yeah, it was weird what they did at the President's Trophy because it wasn't as a full season.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works out. But I'm gonna go with some college basketball for my team or most dominant team of the week. The Baylor Bears men's team has won 17 straight, and they have run over the best in the Big 12, and they are hitting on all cylinders. It's February. That means we are 1 month away from the best basketball month in all of sports, or best month of basketball in the world. College basketball, or NBA, or it's usually NBA playoffs, but now it's not the NBA playoffs, but college basketball at its height. We're right on the cusp of it, and Baylor has been dominating top to bottom. They handled Alabama, they're a football school. They're a football school, but they've been ranked in the top 15. They handled them by 20, I believe. They demolished another team by 35. They have been on a roll, and I cannot wait till next month with the March Madness because I'm excited to see. I want to go ahead and excited to see the head-to-head between the two of us because
I'm dominated by March Madness picks the last few years.
I know. Hearing all the hype you have, and then me religiously filling out 10 brackets every year.
Oh, and I piss people off because I don't watch a single college basketball game before I start filling out the bracket, and then
still just kill it.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And I'm supposed to have, if we get on the radio, I might have to bring this up in Gunnison when we're down there, but I think I'm owed like $100 gift card for winning the bracket one time because the station sponsored the competition and I won.
Hey, maybe we do a little giveaway with our own stuff. Maybe some March Madness stuff.
We could.
We got some extra gear. Maybe we do a giveaway. I don't know.
We could possibly do that. And I don't know. Let's get into the break. We're going to introduce a new segment, and it's actually, if you listen to the preview on Colorcast, you'll know what's coming up. But we'll introduce a new segment, Off the Hinges, presented by the Unhinged Sports Network and Fubo TV and Fanatics. So let's go ahead. Let's listen to a couple of our partnerships, and we'll be back with the ending of this episode of Far Under the Bench here on the Unhinged Sports Network. Benchwarmers, we got to introduce a new segment to you, Off the Hinges, presented by the Unhinged Sports Network and our partners, Fanatics and Fubo TV. This segment we're going to try out. It's basically another center of attention segment, but this is going to be a little bit more drawn out and more of a conversation. But we take something that's really got
grinding our
gears for the past week in sports, and really I've been kind of sitting on this one for the entire NFL playoffs. So my dad he's a very anti Patrick Mahomes, and it's not for the reasons that you think. I mean, he's a Broncos fan. He grew up in Colorado. It's not because he plays for the Chiefs. It's because of the celebration after a touchdown. And it got me thinking, like, what is it with the old sports fan or the older generation sports fan that doesn't like anything new or doesn't like any progress to be made in the sport? Because there was a lot of backlash for the NHL when they had to sponsor their divisions because they're taking a money hit anyway, so they needed to sponsor those divisions. There was a blowback with that. There's been blowback. I'm sure my dad's not the only one who thinks Patrick Mahomes flexing after he gets a big play is unnecessary. But in the end of it, who cares? What does that opinion matter? And does it change anything that they're going to do? No, probably not. I'm sure next time Patrick Mahomes throws an 85-yard touchdown pass, no look behind his back, he's going to flex.
It goes back to the Cam Newton. Everyone remembers that Super Bowl run for Panthers. Cam Newton was dancing after every touchdown, Superman dance. It goes back to the Aaron Rodgers discount double check.
I like the discount
double check or whatever it may be.
I like the BJ Raji better though.
I mean, because you're a lineman. That's what you had to like it.
What does that mean?
Hey, I don't like.
Jonah's got me in shape.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, look, sports are fun. If kids these players right now have loved the game since they were kids. We both love sports more than anything. That's why we do this podcast and do this. It's when you're doing something you love and get paid for it, you should be enjoying it. Mm-hmm. This is not something where you go up, just act robotic, you do your play, and then do it. Nowadays, people aren't dancing to rub it in to the other team. Yes, they do it every once in a while, obviously Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, but like most of these dancing, most of this is because they're enjoying what they're doing. They're having fun. And that's what, I mean, football is a strict sport, and when it comes to, there's not a whole lot of flashy plays that can happen unless it's a trick play or whatever. When it comes to basketball, hockey, whatever it may be, you can have the alley-oops, you can have the between the legs goal. Like there's different aspects to it. When it comes to football players, it's I can outrun you to the end zone. Like that's basically it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like unless it's a flea flicker or something crazy along those lines, it's not really flashy. And when it comes to football, these guys have played for, like I said, they've been playing since they were less than 10 years old. They're enjoying this game of football. That the way this game has been playing now is some of the best football we've ever seen because people are playing with passion. People are playing with, you're pissed off when you're not doing well, but at the same time when you're hyping up your teammates, you're having fun.
It's made the game so much more interesting. You know how many more people are watching ever since they allowed celebrations to come back on?
It makes everyone has fun with it, unless you're the team it's going against, obviously. But
the best team is the Seahawks because of all their receiver core dances, and they choreograph them out. They should spend more time in their playbooks. Maybe they'd win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, win another Super Bowl. I mean, but you gotta give them some fun, man. Look, sports are fun. This game, all these games we talk about, all these sports we talk about, they should be played with their hearts on their sleeve, man. Because no one wants to watch robots go out there and do it. Because I would throw on the Puppy Bowl and have Boomer out there if I wanted to watch robots. I want to watch human beings who are passionate about the game, who love to have fun playing the game of football do that, and that's why it is okay to me. Although as much as I hate it when it goes against my team, I don't hate it when my team does it. And for that reason, it should be constantly a positive in this league.
Yeah, and there can be Barry Sanders in any. That's always the go-to is he scored a touchdown, turn to the ref, toss him the ball. There can be those guys that aren't flashy and just decide that they want to win with their play, and that's fine. But allow the game to be bigger and open it up for guys that can show off a little bit or like to let you know when they're doing well. It's not a terrible thing. It's good for the league. It's good for the eyeballs on it. And there's been, the last few years, they've been saying that the NFL is losing viewers and it's going downhill. Mark Cuban's like, the NBA is going to overtake the NFL. Okay, slow your roll there. It's not going nowhere.
The viewership, honestly, I don't know where all these numbers come from when it comes to basketball, NFL, hockey.
They just got put on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, they're all up. Like what we've seen, like, all the games have grown. It's not like these are all just dropping to lower seller. It's not like there's only 10 people watching a single game. Mm-hmm. Every sport is killing it.
Yeah, everything is going in the right direction, and you can have your opinion. Just you don't need to be as vocal about it. Is all I'm saying. Not anybody in specific, but just take what you like in the game, and then find the player that you like to watch. That's all. That's all you need to do, and then don't root for somebody to get his head taken off because he flexes his arm after a touchdown.
As much as we hate Mr. Corvette himself.
Well, I mean, Von Bell hates him pretty bad.
Yeah, as much as we hate on Mr. Corvette Juju so much, he enjoys the game. He plays it with passion, and although what his antics off the field sometimes result to his field,
the Browns is the Browns,
Browns is the Browns, and all that good stuff. But like these guys are passionate and they're fiery about their teams and what they do. And that's a positive, in my opinion. It's not a negative.
Yeah, and everybody always complains about the NFL. The guys getting paid so much money, they don't care about it. And they talk about college sports and how everybody wears their heart on their sleeve. And then when they finally do it in the NFL, they complain that it's too much. Pull it back. Just be happy. Just enjoy that we have sports. Because remember, we could go back to March and not have any sports on TV. Remember around this time last year, everything decided, hey, no, we're not coming back.
Remember when we had to wait till every Sunday, till the Last Dance, to watch any sports throughout the week?
That's true. I did actually. The Last Dance.
That's the only thing that's the only thing that was ever on for sports wise at the beginning of this. We gotta let the players enjoy the game.
They dropped F-bombs on ESPN
and Nickelodeon,
but they let F-bombs be dropped on ESPN because we were that bored. So just take the sports that they give you. That's all. That's the main thing there.
That's true. For me, my off the hinges first one, I'm gonna go basketball here because the All-Star voting, they need to fix this. This is some of the worst I've ever seen. First of all, yes, it's a popularity contest, but the top two vote getters right now, this is obviously biased, should be Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Those should be your captains right now. LeBron has had a good year. But what Embiid and Jokic have done, they should be the captains of this All-Star team. And I love what they did last year with the whole Kobe tribute and having them play to 24 at the end of the game and all that good stuff. But when it comes to the All-Star voting, Klay Thompson is the 10th most voted All-Star point guard-wise in the West. And he hasn't played a game all year.
He's not going to be able to play.
He's not going to be able to play a game all year. And he's the 10th most voted point guard in the West. That's terrible. The fan vote has gone to be an absolute joke. Whether going back to the Zaza Pachulia days, where he was almost an all-star, never forget that. And then I believe there was another year where, they almost got Boban in last year. like as much as I love those players, and actually I don't love Zaza. Don't get me wrong with that. I love Boban because Boban's fun. He's just a big.
I definitely know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so do you know who Boban?
I know who Boban is, but I know the other guys.
Yeah, don't worry. Zaza is a head case as it is. Zuzu, yeah. But they gotta fix this fan vote. It's just disrespectful what the fans have been doing. Players like Zach LaVine is only 8th in the East for guard voting. He deserves some love. Jaylen Brown hasn't been getting love in the Eastern Conference. Jason Tatum, I believe, is 5th when it comes to forwards. That's ridiculous. It's a popularity vote. It is what it is. But I would love to see some new blood at the All-Star captain list. Because, having Jokic and having Embiid, there's the international ties right there. And plus, you have the two best centers in the NBA. And I'll tell you right now, Embiid versus Jokic, that's going to be straight comedy when they pick teams. That's great content. We love good content over here. That's great content. That's great for ratings.
Going to pick. I don't know how to say his name.
Exactly.
I'm going to pick not Big Honey, but the Serbian.
That was a very Russian Serbian accent there, Jim.
It's the same area.
Same area, but yeah.
Same.
They gotta fix something with this. I love the I mean, the Pro Bowl's a joke. First of all, the
All-Star Game's a joke too.
The All-Star Game has got
contest is fun.
The All-Star Weekend is best. The NBA All-Star Weekend is the best.
Yeah, but the game is trash.
Last year was better. I promise you, if you go back and watch the NBA All-Star Game last year, it was competitive. It was a lot of fun. I'm hoping it's a lot better.
Is there any defense played?
The last fourth quarter there is. That's why they imposed the Mamba rule, and that's why they imposed this stuff, because they have it where. After 5 minutes left, because they only play like a 10-minute fourth quarter, and then they add 24 points to the team who's leading score, and then it's the first to get to that many points. So it goes hard. You have the starters go against each other, and they had teams last year where your team wins money if they did it like a quarter basis too. It was like which team won each quarter, and that much money went back to that charity. So I think what the NBA All-Star Game, I mean, I like the NBA All-Star Weekend so much because I'm a huge fan, and I love the alley-oops and watching players play at incredible heights of things. But let's do something different than having LeBron and KD or LeBron and Giannis as your All-Star captains. Let's do something different. Like, come on. I mean, as great as LeBron is, give me something different.
I don't disagree with you. And it's funny because I'm just thinking back. One of my first shows, we were talking about the NBA All-Star Game when I was on the radio in Gunnison, and I couldn't pronounce Giannis's last name.
Antetokounmpo?
And nobody could either. Our host was like, Giannis, the guy who plays out in Milwaukee. He's Greek. He's Greek. That's all I know. But now he's a multiple-time All-Star Game captain.
If you're ever looking for a good laugh, go watch Shaq just try to announce his name for the first time. It's just a whole bunch of hair.
Shazam! No, he was Alakazam. Alakazam. All right, let's get into our beats of the week. Not that many to go on this week for me. I'm not gonna lie. I did want to brag once again. My national anthem overhit. So I'm glad I talked you out of it. I didn't. Did you bet on it? Because we couldn't find a place to bet on it.
I didn't bet on it also because I had to miss the first quarter of the game because I had a coach for my basketball team. At least we won, so that made it a little bit better. But, I mean, I did miss the first quarter, unfortunately. I missed all the pregame festivities. Also, not very many good commercials this year.
I really didn't pay attention to any of the commercials. I like the Cheetos one with Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, that one wasn't bad.
It wasn't me. Yeah, but other than that...
The State Farm one with Aaron Rodgers was funny.
And Drake.
Yeah, and Drake. Yeah. That was funny because they played that right after they showed Tom Brady holding the Super Bowl trophy, and that was the first commercial after, and it was just ironic because Paul Rudd threw the ball backwards, and they were like, man, they hit this right tail on the end of the nail with how Patrick Mahomes played the Super Bowl. It's kind of I thought that was funny. Yeah. But besides that, I think it was the Paramount commercial. They brought back the SpongeBob halftime performance, which I thought was kind of funny because I love SpongeBob.
There was a Wayne's World bring back as well.
No, that was also good.
With Cardi B, that was kind of funny.
So maybe it wasn't so bad, the commercials this year.
No, I mean, really, there's a few that stood out. I like the Doritos 3D commercial with Matthew McConaughey, where he slides up into the vending machine and then eats the Cheeto and then pops back up. I thought that was kind of funny, but...
the halftime performance also was very interesting. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hey,
did you bet on any of the halftime props? Because apparently people were pissed off that Starboy was the first one. Of course he was going to sing Starboy first. You know more than one Weeknd song?
I mean, I love the Twitter meme the guy who plays James Bond. What's his name? Oh, my God.
Which
Something
one?
Craig,
Which James
like the
Bond?
most recent one.
Oh, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. I love his SNL thing where it's like, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. And there's a Twitter account that posts that every single Friday at 5 p.m. And that's the greatest meme about it all. But either way, I mean, I thought that was just weird.
They didn't even have a special guest, did he? There was supposedly he was...
Apparently Ariana Grande was supposed to be there, but she wasn't, or I don't know.
and then he got lost in that funhouse, and that was
It was
strange.
That was
It was almost as strange as Katy Perry. It goes back to Katy Perry with the giant dancing shark.
I just want to see the video of the cameraman having him to follow him around constantly in a circle. Because I bet that was hilarious.
He's probably very sick. I can't imagine that was any fun. But I mean, overall, other than the fact that it was Brady winning again, I would say that it was a successful Super Bowl, especially for one that we didn't think we were going to have.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to hate on it too much.
Yeah. Going back to that, the one you said about the national anthem, I saw there were so many people that bet whether or not the first kickoff would be taken out of the end zone.
Saw that.
And my dad texted me. He was like, "I just lost $50." Because he said it was going to be a touchback.
Oh.
And the dude brought it out. I saw a video online where there was 20 dudes that bet on him taking it out. And they all won money.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's hilarious. I love it.
It was good. I mean, that's why a lot of people like watching the Super Bowl that don't even watch football all the time.
Just bet on
you can bet on anything.
Yeah.
Bet on anything. What company bought the first commercial? I don't know. No, there's no way to know that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you can put money on it. Speaking of Super Bowls, my first beat of the week. Buffalo is plus 1,100 to win the Super Bowl next year. And like I said, I couldn't find too many other ones. So I thought Buffalo plus 1,100.
Are the Buccaneers the favorites right now?
No.
Or is it the Chiefs?
I think it's still the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are plus 650. I'll pull it up real quick. So I was looking at
I don't hate that. I just don't know.
No free shout-outs, FanDuel.
Yeah, no free shout-outs. But either way, I don't hate that. I mean, Josh, I think they need to do more defensively. But Buffalo, I think, will be good. They definitely will
need
be
a
good.
running game for
sure.
sure.
Running game. They need a lot more help. Then give Josh Allen help, and then you can see.
They're in a good spot, except for everywhere, and they're not very good. But that's all. Kansas City is plus 500, Tampa Bay is plus 950, and then it's Buffalo and Green Bay at plus 1,100. Los Angeles bumped up to plus 1,300 after the last trade. Oh, you can bet on the draft? I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have 3 beats of the week then.
Yeah.
I'll come up with one on the fly. What's your first beat of the week?
My first beat of the week, like I said, one of the fights I'm looking forward to, Macy Barber is the underdog, plus 120 against Alex Grasso. Alex Grasso is a good fighter, but I think Macy Barber, everyone was hyping her up to be the next big thing out of this division. She has the date when John Jones became the youngest, or was it John Jones? I don't know who it was. It probably John Jones, the youngest UFC champion. And she has that date of when she has to win a championship by then. And I hope to see it because she's a stud. So give me Macy Barber plus 120 for this weekend.
Anytime you can take away something historic from John Jones, you should try to because he doesn't deserve any of it anymore. My next beat of the week, Andre Vasilevsky to win the Vezina Trophy. He is the favorite, but it's plus 650. And I said it a lot. I said it on Two for Chirping, which you can catch Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern with me and Ken and Trevor from the Bleacher Connection. Jim is going to be our first rotating seat, and he'll be on the episode coming up this week.
Second, because Preston.
Oh, yes, second.
I forgot about Preston.
I mean, he's a Vegas fan. He's a Vegas Golden Knights fan. But shout out In the Marbles. I say it on that show all the time. If they would have counted any sort of bubble play, even if it was the round-robin games, Andre Vasilevsky's the Vezina Trophy winner. He was the best goalie at the end of the bubbles.
Tom Brady. So they're like, you know what? Let's gain protection. Let's do exactly what we need to do. Play off Lenny, ladies and gentlemen, who got cut. I think it was the second or third week of the year. And look what he did in the Super Bowl. This team, they all bought in, and that's what it takes to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Everyone buying into a role and then doing what you need to win a Super Bowl. And whether it be that defense led by Antoine Winfield, a rookie, or Tristan Wirfs on the O-line, a rookie, or Tom Brady, the 43-year-old legend, top to bottom, man, this Buccaneers team put out a performance of a lifetime, and they will be forever etched in the record books. Yeah. And I mean, we can talk about the Brady effect and why it's no longer the Patriot way; it's a Brady way. But what he was able to do for the city of Tampa Bay, and then also winning a Super Bowl there, Patriots fans, welcome to the Indianapolis Colts effect. Do you want to know what happened on Saturday when Peyton Manning, or excuse me, on Sunday when Peyton Manning was on the field for the Hall of Fame inductees? He was wearing orange and blue.
He was wearing orange and blue.
Now imagine Tom Brady wearing brown and burgundy.
I want him to do the creamsicle jerseys.
And the creamsicle jerseys in the Hall of Fame. Oh, Patriots fans are gonna yak to that. I mean, Peyton Manning had a little Colts helmet next to his little thing, and a huge Broncos helmet. That just goes to show. So Peyton Manning, although he started his career in Indianapolis, he's a Bronco through and through.
He built that stadium too. He built that new stadium.
Yeah, and we could be pushing daisies where if Tom Brady wins heaven forbid, 3 more, we could remember him as an all-time great Buccaneer. Buccaneer. I mean, that hurts you, but it hurts Patriots fans more to hear that.
No, it hurts me a good amount. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, what do we think about this Chiefs team? Because what caused them to just not show up? It didn't make any sense because they treated it like it was a regular road game after a bye. They didn't travel up until Saturday before. Was it the home field advantage? Was it something like that? Because honestly, the Chiefs, they had a chance to be in it, but then after not converting off of that goal line stand that their defense got them, they just kind of deflated and never got back into a rhythm. It was weird. I didn't really understand why it happened until it was almost like they just got punched in the mouth and couldn't even come back.
It was the I'm bored effect. Oh, everyone remembers when they came out and said that, I'm bored. We are killing everyone. Well, what happened when the biggest stage came up and a team that was built to win the Super Bowl, not built to run this league, built to last through to the last game of the year and dominate? The Chiefs were not built to last. They relied heavily on Mahomes to win games themselves. They had no running game at the end of the year with 3 great running backs, too. We saw nothing from Clyde Edwards-Helaire, nothing from Darrell Williams. Le'Veon Bell didn't touch the field. And those guys should have been used more. You did exactly what you didn't do the year before. Excuse me. And this Chiefs team, the Buccaneers, I mean, give them credit 100%. They made the Chiefs show their weaknesses. Defensively, unable to slow down the middle of the field with the tight ends. Tyrann Mathieu not be able to lock up Gronk or whoever is coming up the middle. Their run game, god awful. Their flaws came to show, and they showed in the biggest game of the year why this game is not led by a quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback position is the most important position on the field when it comes to the offense, but you have to have everyone around you. And the Chiefs were shown that they're one-dimensional. They're one-dimensional. I mean, I'm going to keep going back to it because obviously I watched that game in depth. But that Broncos game, the second Broncos game in Kansas City, showed exactly how to beat them. You use your tight end thoroughly, and you force them to kick field goals. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, I don't know the exact stat on this, but I think this is the first time Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have been held without a touchdown in a single game.
It's their lowest point total, plus the only time that they've never scored a touchdown.
Which is nuts. And I'm going to go back to it. The biggest loss wasn't Britt Reed. It was Eric Fisher. That's the biggest loss right there. Because like we said, Shaq Barrett, JPP dominated the line of scrimmage the whole time of the game, and Mahomes had no help at all. Having a left tackle come in from off the bench and have to play in the Super Bowl, that's not easy at all.
No, but I was also thinking the same point that you made on NFL Unhinged about the coaches just being able to step up because they're used to, this is the year that you prepare for somebody not to be able to show up. I thought the same thing was going to be true for that offensive line because the Chiefs, everybody on the offensive line room has played a lot this year for Kansas City. They haven't had the same starting 5 for more than 4 weeks in the season. I think when they lost Mitchell Schwartz, and then now they lost their other. It shows what having 2 of the best pass blocking tackles can do for a young quarterback because Patrick Mahomes doesn't win a league MVP and a Super Bowl MVP before he's 25 behind guys that aren't all pro status, and that's what Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz are. It was a lot bigger. I thought that the defensive line was going to be a big X factor. And it's the same way that the Broncos beat Brady. You just hit him as many times as you can. I think Mahomes was touched on 75% of his dropbacks. Just even whether he was sacked or pressured or anything, just touched afterwards, it's annoying. Mm-hmm. And if you get knocked down that many times, you don't want to pick yourself back up.
Yeah, frustrating a lot.
And that's how they beat Brady for so long. Brady got to experience the other side of that. Because Peyton Manning didn't win the AFC Championship in 2015. Mm-hmm. That defense just beating Brady every single chance they got.
Exactly.
Won
that front seven dominated the line of scrimmage, and then having T.J. Ward, Akeem Talib, Chris Harris on the back end made life hell for Brady.
It's a very similar defense when you think about it, other than the linebackers, because those linebackers, Levante David, Devin White, two best linebackers in football.
Mm-hmm. Inside linebackers. I'm going to say inside linebackers because that's just a pure position. But yeah, best inside linebackers in football. When it comes to outside linebackers, it's a little different story. But either way, it's the best inside linebacker core in football by far.
If I was a coach, I want those two guys, and I'll build a team around them. Whether or not I have any other capital. If I have those two guys on my defense, I know that I'm going to be okay at certain points. And you can run a Tampa 2 effectively because that was a thing for a while. Tight ends were getting so fast and so big that you couldn't run the Tampa 2 anymore because linebackers can't cover. Vontae David and Devin White covered the shit out of Travis Kelce yesterday. Didn't have a touchdown. I'm apologizing again, Spencer. I feel really bad about that. It's like, oh, no, it's 100%. He'll get a touchdown. Trust me. Just put down the money. It was bad.
I would have done the exact same thing. So, I mean, I'm not hating on that at all.
Hey,
It is what it is.
The national anthem hit over.
That is true.
Just letting you know.
I know.
And I didn't start timing it up until I think I missed 30 seconds. And it still hit the over with my screwed up clock.
Tails also failed me. So, first time in history, Tails failed me.
When it's heads, it spreads. And it was just bad juju throughout the rest of the field when that happened. It was not good.
Let's touch about this Brady Effect too real quick because I firmly believe this diminishes the Patriots' legacy. I think this shows that because the Patriots, why couldn't have they made the playoffs this year with Cam Newton? Because this is the Tom Brady effect. Brady changes the whole world or the whole game plan, the whole thought around the team. Belichick is a good coach, but if he can't make the playoffs next year without Brady, I think this gets bad and worse for your Patriots fan. And it wasn't the Patriot way; it was a Brady way. Yeah. I think obviously people would say that Brady is assistant quarterback and blah blah blah. Well, newsflash: Brady is the system.
Oh, he's a system quarterback, but he works in a lot of different systems.
He is exactly like I said. Yeah. He is the system. He knows how to win games and how to get an offense going the right direction when it comes. Because he had no right with that terrible offense last year to be in the playoffs. Yeah. No right at all, and they still scratched it or a division title and gave the Titans a run for the money in the playoffs last year. Yeah. So with talent around him, Brady is the best quarterback in the league. And when like I said, he is the system. And wherever he goes, he knows what it takes to get that next level.
And that's the kind of quarterback, that's the kind of player a guy like Bill Belichick needs. He needs, because everybody says that Brady is the guy who lets Belichick cuss him out and treat him like he is a rookie. Like what Lewis said, Peyton told that rookie who dropped a pass, yeah, it's your bad. Go tell him you're not going to sign your contract. Belichick would kill him on the field, like verbally assault him. But since everybody else saw that Brady could be verbally assaulted, everybody else tried to be better than what they were. So it worked when he had a player like that, and I don't think Cam Newton was that guy. I don't think that they have a guy in that locker room right now. And I don't think Julian Edelman could take over as that guy because Julian Edelman is the biggest, if you want to talk about 6 shades of Brady, Julian Edelman basically is borderline Ted 2. I'm going to make Tom Brady my baby's daddy.
Yeah, I mean, if like I said, those young white receivers, yeah. I mean, it's just the fact of the matter is
Scotty Miller's also very fast.
Yeah, Scotty Miller's fast too. But if you look at Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Scotty Miller's career, if they're on a different team for most of their career and didn't have the quarterbacks or didn't have Tom Brady in their lives, their whole career, probably not in the NFL. Let's be honest here. That's just the fact of the matter. Tom Brady loves using those small slot receivers.
That's true. It's something to think about. Let's transition a little bit now. Let's do the NFL honors first. So I'll pull up that list, but really not too many surprises. Kevin Stefanski, I think, might have been. We thought that he could win it, but I thought Sean McDermott, having gone farther in the playoffs, was going to take it. Kevin Stefanski ended up winning Coach of the Year.
I didn't hate it, but obviously, I mean, both those coaches were well deserved.
Mm-hmm. It was. No, I mean, everybody who got an award really deserved it. Walter Payton, Man of the Year. Russell Wilson, he does a lot. He's the cringiest, like...
I thought it was weird him sitting next to Goodell in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I just thought that was weird at all, but I mean, hats off to Russell Wilson, because he does do a lot of great things in the community. I think he still goes to... I don't think he does anymore with the pandemic going on, but he would go to the Children's Hospital I think it was either Monday or every Saturday before or after a game, and he does a lot of great things to the community. So I'm glad he got honored that way.
Yeah, I just think that he's public. He's like so secure in himself and doesn't think that anything he does is weird, that it's all weird. He's like that dad that's trying to fit in on social media and it just doesn't quite fit. He should be on one of those State Farm commercials. Hey, you woke up early. Nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He gives me that kind of vibe. But Aaron Rodgers wins MVP. His second or third?
I believe it was his second.
Second MVP. Still has 3 to go if he wants to catch Peyton's. That's just saying. Just throwing that out there. But he did have a great year. And then Offensive Player of the Year went Derrick Henry, which makes sense.
No surprise there.
No, I really think that MVP is basically best quarterback, and then Offensive Player of the Year should be somebody else. I gave it to Deshaun Watson just because I think 4,800 yards should be an MVP season. But
if they won games, he would have easily been an MVP conversation.
Yeah, and Derrick Henry rushing for 2,000 yards without an All-Pro offensive lineman, something very scary. Aaron Donald won Defensive Player of the Year. There was a lot of heat.
That was the most heated one.
I don't understand where the heat came from because he demands triple teams. He doesn't even demand double teams.
Look, TJ Watt had a great year. No doubt about it. I had a great year. If it would have gone to either one, it would have been no hate at all.
Don't give me that cat bullshit afterwards.
I mean, you gotta do a little bit. It's for the entertainment, Jimmy.
Yeah, but TJ, you know that the Watts don't even know how to. You know that somebody was like, "Hey, TJ, you should post this."
I bet $20 it was JJ.
No, I think JJ's. The whole Watt family seems kind of fake to me. Like the Hard Knocks with JJ was weird because nobody does that after a 2-day practice, going out and doing your own stuff. And I don't. TJ Watt's never been out in the media. Other than his tag show that he hosted with his two brothers, which was awful. That was not a good thing that they did. It just seems so forced.
Jimmy, J.J. Watt came out and straight up and said that he knows he's cringe. He said that he knows he's cringe.
Then why do you do it?
He does it for fun, to see everybody lose their minds. You don't think it's J.J. Watt and T.J. Watt? Like I said, our Pro Bowlers gonna be J.J. Watt's a Hall of Famer. T.J. Watt, if he continues on this path, will be a Hall of Famer. Like. They're living life. They're just having fun. Yeah, that's the way they live, Jimmy. That's true. It's cringe, but they know it's cringe.
Hey, Aaron Donald's been the best player in the league for the past 3 years, so he wins Defensive Player of the Year just based off of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not gonna hate it all. Like I said, either way, those are the top two options.
That's true. Aaron Donald should have won MVP, so then TJ Watt could have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, but then we're taking it away from Aaron Rodgers. And
he can win Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, then there's a whole...
Somebody's going to get left out, and TJ Watt... I'm glad that it was you that got left out.
Because you're just a Steelers fan. And you're going to be hating life when JJ Watt becomes a Steeler as well, along with his brothers.
Yeah, it's going to be awful. I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that. Offensive Rookie of the Year, another AFC West Division rival, Justin Herbert.
Hold on. Justin Herbert didn't win games. He did not win football games. Let's put it this way. He put up good numbers. They didn't win football games. It should have gone to Justin Jefferson.
It should have.
It should have gone to Justin Jefferson. Justin Herbert didn't win football games. Everyone can give all the hype in the world, but what happened when the Broncos were at home and you had a 20-point lead going into the fourth quarter and the Broncos come back? You can't... No, the dude doesn't know how to win football games. He can have all these stats he wants. He'll be I saw a great comparison. He's going to be the Drew Brees. He is going to be a quarterback that puts up these wild numbers, but will never be able to get to the peak. Drew Brees was lucky one year. I think Herbert may get lucky one year, but I don't know if it's with the Chargers because he's going to put up these wild numbers, but it's not going to translate to wins. It doesn't matter.
It's an interesting thing. I mean, obviously, normally you would pick somebody who's an actual winner in the league. Justin Jefferson is in a different situation because he's a receiver. I don't necessarily hate it. I mean, he did just break the all-time rookie record for touchdown passes, 10 interceptions. He had a good year. And I think on it, I don't know necessarily if him not winning games was on him. Him not winning games was on Anthony Lynn. Let's be completely honest there. That's who
they have no excuses next year. I'm just telling you right now, no excuses.
I think that they're going to be really good next year, and I shout out Eckler because Eckler's going to be.
Eckler was hurt half the year too, so that didn't help.
I think they're going to be a pretty deadly offense next year. AFC West might turn into NFC West here coming up.
AFC West is, I think it's still the best division of football. What the Raiders might do if the Broncos somehow get Deshaun Watson. Imagine that. Oh, man.
We'll see. Defensive Rookie of the Year was Chase Young.
That was deservedly so. I don't think there's no bark about that at all.
No, I don't think I heard anything. Antoine Winfield might have been a little bit upset.
Just because he was in the Super Bowl, his team won. But either way, that was well deserved.
Yeah, I think that Winfield's probably a guy who'd rather go with the team win than his win. Comeback Player of the Year, Alex Smith.
Deservedly so. Whoever was the idiot that voted Ben Roethlisberger and Alex Smith wasn't unanimous, you deserve to never be able to vote for any award again. Let's put that out there right now. You don't deserve to vote for anything ever again.
No, you're on
Ever
baseball.
again.
You're on baseball writer status. Baseball Hall of Fame voter status.
That should have been the first time. I don't know. Actually, maybe not the first time. One of the first times where a player has won unanimously vote, and there's none more deserving than Alex Smith.
No, this should be the Alex Smith Comeback Player of the Year.
It should be named here once he retires. That.
I don't understand.
Watching those videos back and watching all those. Watching that documentary on ESPN and seeing all those things with all those playbacks, it is absolutely crazy what happened to his leg. And considering he led his team into a playoff game or into the playoffs, although their division sucked, but either way, he still was a part of getting that team to the playoffs. Being able to do that and that team almost beating the Super Bowl champs, that's goes without saying.
It says something for sure. Now let's go into the other honors that were given out this past weekend. And let's talk about Peyton Manning first. Hall of Famer. Apparently his deliberation took all of 13 seconds. Basically as long as his cadence would have been. But they not only did he wear Broncos stuff when they announced it on the Super Bowl, they announced it at Empower Field in Mile High. Which I think it was just luck that he ended up being in Denver for Peyton's places.
I'm pretty sure he lives here, so
he does.
I think that he's more than likely going to be here because he still does his interview at the Hall of with Baker at the Hall of Fame when they were doing it on Saturday.
Experience, and other than maybe Hudobin, he's had the hottest start of any goaltender, and he's also in the situation with the Avs, or not the Avs. Yeah, he has the same situation that the Avalanche goaltenders do, where he knows he's going to have offensive help. But Vasilevsky is the guy who just shuts the door in net. He doesn't let anything go through. So I like him plus 650 to win the Vezina Trophy.
I don't hate that at all. My next one, like I said, college basketball season is at its peak right now. Alabama basketball is playing good. Yeah, we talk about Alabama football being this empire. Alabama basketball is playing well. So give me Alabama basketball to win the SEC tournament. Yes, take down the mighty Kentucky, who hasn't played very well this year, and win the SEC tournament.
All right.
I would put GCU to win the WAC tournament, but I can't find that anywhere. So
you don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it.
Let's save the Lopes because when we drop our merch, the Lopes.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool logos and a lot of different things that we're figuring out with all that.
All right, my last beat of the week. This is the number one overall pick, and it's obvious which one is highest. So let's see. If I was gonna think anybody would jump up to the number one pick,
you're picking against Trevor Lawrence here.
Well, I mean Trevor Lawrence is minus 6,000 favorite.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So there's no way.
Boy.
I'm not gonna tell people to bet on that.
Is there something to bet on the second pick? Because that might.
Oh, here's Trevor Lawrence's team. Houston Texans plus 900.
Plus 900.
Plus 900.
I had it. So that means they're predicting the Jaguars to trade for Deshaun Watson.
That would be what they would be predicting.
Oh,
maybe he wants to work with another Clemson great quarterback in Deshaun instead of Trevor Lawrence.
That's true.
I don't know. The Broncos are plus 2,200 to beat Trevor Lawrence's team. Maybe that's what I'll put.
2,200?
Plus 2,200.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Sure. Not as good of a chance as the Jets. Jets are plus 1,300. So
yeah, because they're the number 2 pick. There's a shot.
Just check out all those. FanDuel has 1.5 million props. We want to get some sort of betting app. I know Superbook sports betting just followed us on Twitter, so I mean, if you want to reach out, I mean,
help us out, yeah.
I'm not as successful as Mark Schlereth, but I feel like I could look like him in a very small, shrunk down version. Like I got left in the dryer too long, but we could use the help a little bit. What's your last beat of the week?
I got a really, really good one. I after you told me Ian Hines was on the card, I already had a really good one, but I'm gonna parlay it together. So I have Ian Hines to beat Gastelum, which was plus 175. Parlayed that with Kamaru Usman to win on points, which is plus 135. Together, plus 546. That is a great bang for your buck. I think, like I said, Gastelum's on a 3-fight losing streak, and Usman is known to go the distance, especially with Gilbert Burns. I think it's gonna be a war, but I don't think, like I said, one's gonna knock out the other. So I think those two together is gonna be a big bang for your buck here. Yeah. So give me Usman to beat Burns on points, and Ian Heinisch to win to any way.
Yeah, I think Heinisch is the best underdog value on the card.
Yeah, I mean, Gastelum off a 3-fight losing streak at plus 200. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not good. So get your money, get your bets in, win some money, so that you can have enough money to bet on March Madness and lose it all again.
Oh my God, I bet so much on the Super Bowl. Like I tweeted out, I had 8 prop bets and won 1.
I'd like to bet $100. You want to pick a team? No, just take it.
Just take my money. Just take my money.
You can just have it. That's fine. We don't have to go through that. Let's move into player and play of the week, and we'll start with player of the week. I cheated a little bit. I picked Boston's perfection line with Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, and David Pastrnak, and it hurts. I'm not gonna lie, Jim. This does not feel good admitting that Pastrnak did help out the Bruins as much as he did, but as bad as they started not being able to score an even strength goal, they're making up for it very quickly. So it scares me. I'm hoping I say it and they get jinxed again. We're going back to that. That was what we did with this show in hockey when we first started. It was we said something to try and make the opposite happen. So I'm speaking into existence the jinx on Boston's perfection line. No injuries or anything. Just get all out of whack. I don't need you scoring 38 points in 5 games. I don't need that.
I don't hate that at all. My player of the week, man. I'm gonna have some fun here. I'm picking Gronk. Gronk is my player of the week. I don't think he had a touchdown all year. He might have had 1.
He might have had 1.
But 2 in the Super Bowl? Like I said, the dude was preparing to host WrestleMania this time last year, which also would have been in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium. That would have been also hilarious if that would have worked out. Him host WrestleMania last year and then win the Super Bowl in that same stadium. But yeah, Gronk, man, who doesn't love Gronk? Gronk is just a fun guy. He plays with passion.
He's a true tight end.
He's a true tight end. I know you like your true tight ends. So, pause on that. Wow. I can't believe that just came out of my mouth.
I don't like tight ends,
Lord,
Nico.
wow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, man.
I don't like tight ends.
I can't believe that just came out of my mouth like that. But Jesus Christ. Give me Gronk.
Guard your secrets here. Guard the secrets.
So give me Gronk for player of the week.
It's an exit only, damn it.
Oh, man.
All right, let's
play of the week. Let's get to play of the week. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I'm sorry, Boomer. We probably shouldn't be talking about this around you, huh?
Okay, Jimmy, go ahead.
Player of the week, Vita Vea. They put the 6'4", 345-pound Coke machine with legs at fullback, and he absolutely snatched somebody's soul. It was beautiful.
The second play. The first play, he didn't touch the soul.
Well, the first play he was the wing.
Yeah,
and then
that's where it fucked up. You gotta line him up in the half or fullback position.
Make him the guard with the running start, and let's do this. I wish they would have handed it to him. If they would have handed it to him, he would have scored.
Because there was I know there was a prop bet too out there that was like a lineman to score. Because they thought,
and
that
other guy, because
the Chiefs guy almost caught it, I think, or was it
the Bucks?
It was one,
Bucks. Number 73 on the Bucks. I don't even know what his name is. Had it in his hands and got it punched out.
Had a good number though.
No, does not represent that number very well. Because he forgot that DBs punch the ball after you catch it. It's like, I caught it. But I caught it though. It's like the Benchwarmers where he ticks it. It's like strike 3, you're out. But I ticked it. It hit the bat. You're still out.
Well, you're still fat.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't hate that at all. I would have loved for him to score though. That would have been so much fun.
Give me a fridge moment.
Maybe Madden would have gave him a Super Bowl card too to play with on Madden Ultimate Team, and that would have been fun. But
he played running back in high school.
He did, like consistently.
Like he was the starting running back in high school.
That's like watching Derrick Henry highlights in high school. I would love to see the comparison between those two.
There's a few people that are pretty good in the NFL. You should watch their high school highlights. Brian Cushing was one.
Yep.
He was a menace in high school.
He was an absolute
AJ Green,
insane human being.
High school highlights. Wow.
I mean,
it is. And then Tavon Austin has
best college mixtape in the world. Yeah. If you're just bored, go to also Hoop Mixtape. Hoop Mixtape have some great ones too. Going back to the Zion Hoop Mixtape, yeah. I know you probably
dunk on all those. No, I watched him dunk on all those preppy white kids.
Yeah,
in North Carolina.
all the preppy white kids, and then all the. I remember watching highlights of Zion like 5 years ago, and him and just dominating AAU ball. So those are always just a fun, good time to watch at night. For my player of the week, I went with something that just hits home because watching Tyreek Hill send up the peace sign just pisses me off. And he does that against the Broncos at least once a year, twice a year. And watching Antoine Winfield break the ball up for Tyreek Hill on 4th down and then give him the little peace sign, that's the play of the week for me. I loved him doing that. And seeing the picture of him, Tyreek Hill giving him the peace sign as he's running by him and backflipping in the end zone, and then on the biggest stage, shutting him down, and then doing that to him, yeah, it was a penalty, but it was worth it. It was worth it. 100% worth it. A rookie doing that, fire me up. I love when people do that.
They have they have a good defense that'll be good for a while. It'll be interesting to see how they come back next season.
Sure.
Because like we said, they're built for this season. Who knows if they have a window now? But we just saw how difficult it is to repeat as a Super Bowl champion. Because I thought the Chiefs were going to be able to do that very easily.
We got one more thing. Benchwarmer of the week. Before we forget, Benchwarmer of the week.
Past Benchwarmer of the week.
Almost forgot that one again.
All right. Mine, Tyrann Mathieu.
Okay, yeah.
It was pretty easy.
I mean, look, you don't bark, like you said, you don't bark at Tom Brady like that.
I thought he had fixed most of his leadership or like quality issues off the field. What that showed me last night with how much he lost his mind and then the fact that he couldn't even come back and lead his guys to make any kind of effort, he's not as good of a leader as I thought he was. He doesn't deserve to be the captain of that defense. I think he's a good player. He's good when things are going good. I put him in the same realm as Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey's a very talented guy, but as soon as he gets down or as soon as something doesn't go his way, you can take advantage of him, and he was taking advantage of all night last night.
I mean, yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, my Benchwarmer league adds on to the play of the week. It's Tyreek Hill. Benchwarmer of the week, Tyreek Hill.
I'll give Tyreek Hill Benchwarmer of the week gladly. I'll take away my vote because
Tyreek Hill with him sending the peace sign to Antoine Winfield and Antoine Winfield lighting him up and Tyreek Hill basically being a non-existent in the Super Bowl. That's your. I mean, if he would have done anything in the Super Bowl, they would have at least had a shot. But he didn't do a soul. And Antoine Winfield saying the peace sign. Like I said, that's probably going to be a thumbnail this week because I just love it so much. But I mean, I might have to do the Brady for
You should do the Antoine Winfield peace sign and then put underneath it Mini-Me when he does it to Austin Powers right before he kicks him in the face.
That's true.
There you go. Maybe that's what you should. I don't know. Be sure to check out Film Room Review because there will be a new episode coming out for February that we're recording just to get that out of the way. Anything else you wanted to say before we get in our plugs at the end of the show?
Anything else? I said this on NFL Unhinged. The Peyton being a first ballot Hall of Famer hits home. Everything he did for this great city. He's a through and through Bronco. Hearing all the great stories over the years. Like I said, as a Bronco fan, watching the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl, having him and John Lynch into the Hall of Fame was beautiful. And then, he has so many great stories. Also, I'm going to plug it again, the Louis Vasquez interview from last week. We had a lot of great feedback on it. It was a fantastic interview. Go back and listen to it because we had Super Bowl 50 stories. We had Combine stories. Mm-hmm. We had Charger stories about Philip Rivers and LT. Yeah. The list goes on. And what a great interview that was with Louis and Peyton's time here in Denver. It was just magnificent. And it's a bright spot for the city finally because everything that happened with Noah Arenado trade, Broncos are finally looking up a little bit more for the first time since Peyton left.
Yeah, that interview was great. Be sure to check out his Legacy Foundation as well. And then also if you're looking to get some sort of offensive lineman training and you're a listener in the San Antonio, Texas area, 6'5" Training, The Art of the Legal Hold.
I know you love that, yeah.
Best name that I could have ever imagined. That's where you can get some private lessons from him. He'll teach you how to play offensive line the right way. With the rest of our plugs, like I said at the beginning, at FEOTB Pod on social media. In our bio, we have our link tree. Our link tree has links to all of our partnerships, affiliates, all of our pages, the YouTube channel. Follow or subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the videos. Yeah,
we've been getting a lot of great feedback from you all on our YouTube page, so we're going to continue putting out great content. Like we said, we're going to put out we do some dumb, stupid things on the court on every Thursday nights.
Once you guys start seeing some of the highlights from these men's league games, you'll understand.
Yeah, once we put the video together for that, that's going to be a banger. I'm going to be taking the Wonder League test. Unfortunately, both of us will be. Yeah. That's going to be a fire video. I'll tell you right now. I'm a comedian, so I'm going to have fun with it, but it is what it is.
I didn't even lose, and I got to take the Wonder League test.
I feel bad. It should just be me and Kelsey doing it, not necessarily you. But
hey, shout out Kelsey who lost the regular season and then came back and won the playoffs.
Anybody can do it once.
Actually, he didn't win the playoffs because Jim was the only one who put the Buccaneers in to win the Super Bowl.
My dumbass picked the Washington football team to win the first round.
That's true.
Against the Buccaneers. Against the Super Bowl.
Didn't you pick the Ravens? You picked the Ravens over the Bills too, I think.
Yeah, but that one didn't hurt as much. I picked the Super Bowl champs to lose in the first round. That hurt.
That did hurt.
That hurts.
All right. Also with our affiliates, check out Atemi Sports. If you need home workout equipment, go use the link in our link tree and then make your purchase. A little bit of your purchase will get kicked back towards us. As always, Fubo, Colorcast, Fanatics. We'll we'll be on Colorcast a little bit more. We'll have a portion of our episode that we're recording at High Alpine, which will be in Friday. If you're in the Gunnison area, come check us out Friday at 1 p.m.
We got merch and stickers.
Merch and stickers. Come get yourself some the very first line.
Yeah, we may tease the shirts a little bit on Thursday before we head down there Friday to make y'all want to come get some merch. But if we do have extras for our friends down here in Denver who can't make it, we'll try to accommodate, because like we said, we're gonna have not Rockies colors. We're gonna have Broncos colors, Nuggets colors, Avs colors. I mean, look at that beautiful sweater Jimmy's got on. Imagine that with our logo and some colors. That's gonna be fire. And then obviously GCU Western State colors as well. So
yeah, and then follow us on social media at FAOTB Pod, because when we're driving up to Gunnison, we'll be filming some videos. I'm gonna show Nico all the best places to stop. This is a journey. It's not just a destination.
4 hours later.
It's about the journey.
It's 4 hours, right?
It's 4 hours if there's weather. We'll see how the weather is. I haven't looked at the CDOT map.
Hey, with Jimmy's new truck, we might be hauling ass. So I bet you can get it under 2.
I could, well, not, I mean, under 2. Under 2 in the summer if it doesn't rain at all. Under 2 then. But Monarch's a little bit sketchy at times. And there's Fair Play's icy as hell. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But we also get to pass. We'll go down the road that you turn right on and you go to South Park.
Oh, beautiful.
But we don't get to go to South Park. We just pass that road on.
So maybe we'll do a funny meme as we pass South Park or something.
But we'll be putting out content. Nico's probably going to get bored in the passenger seat halfway through the ride. So
hey, go to the Unhinged Network and listen along with us, because I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know the Friday lineup, the Friday premiere lineup, but we'll be listening when we go through. So
yeah, and follow the network on Twitter at Network Unhinged, Unhinged SN on Instagram, at Network Unhinged on Twitter, unhingedsn.airtime.pro, 24/7 coverage with all of that great stuff. I think for myself, Jimmy Pilato, Nico Bryant, Far End of the Bench, episode 27. Say goodnight, Boomer. We will see you guys next week.
Peace. Night was him in the training facility in Denver, because I've seen that, because in the background there, that was the Broncos practice facility. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like I said, he's a Bronco for life. I mean, Colts fans, I'm sorry, but that 18 orange jersey is going to be much more notable than that 18 Colts jersey.
Oh man, DJ's just not liking life if he's listening to this podcast.
Just spit facts. Dude broke all the records in the Broncos jersey. Gotta remember that too.
That's true. He had his more successful years, or more explosive years in Indianapolis, but you can't deny what he did in Denver. That's true. Another first ballot Hall of Famer, Megatron. That was deservedly so.
I don't know about first ballot, but he definitely deserves it. It's unfortunate his career was stuck in Detroit, of all places. I would have loved to see him with a quarterback that is stable. Imagine him for 1 year under Aaron Rodgers, with Aaron Rodgers quarterback.
That's true.
God damn, that would have been so much fun.
He had Matt Stafford. I mean, him and Matt Stafford were deadly. He's probably the reason why Matt Stafford ended up going for 2 first-round picks. Yeah. But he didn't get enough time with him, and he didn't get enough time with a real team that could make something other than 2013 when Dez had his weird little. It's a catch, that's not a catch. Yeah. It was a bad year, but. Another guy, Charles Woodson, also first ballot.
Also very deservedly so,
yeah.
I think.
It was first. He's the only defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy, mm-hmm. and now he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Should have had 2 Super Bowls, because the Raiders should have beaten the Patriots that first year. Patriots dynasty never should have happened. The Tuck rule is bullshit. They took it out of the rule the following year. So let's not talk about that. We don't have to get into that. I don't want to talk about Tom Brady anymore. But another interesting guy that ended up getting inducted, Tom Flores, who was a longtime head coach for the Raiders, and I believe he was the first Hispanic head coach, or head coach of Hispanic descent, to be able to win the championship too. So there's a lot of, I think, deserved first ballot finishers. There's a couple guys that got snubbed. Jared Allen being one of them. He got snubbed, but
I think he'll get his time soon. I just think this year there was just so many great candidates.
Yeah, and there was a lot of guys that. They get left out every year.
Clay Matthews Sr., there's another one that...
Clay Matthews Sr. was a very good player.
And that was his last year. He didn't get in. So that's a little tough. But either way, there's a lot of deservedly so. I think Jared Allen will get his due. But like you said, Megatron, you could argue maybe not first ballot, but Peyton Manning first ballot, 100%. Charles Woodson, 100% first ballot.
Does John Lynch go in as a Bronco?
No, he'll be a Buccaneer. I believe, he'll be a Buccaneer, because he won that Super Bowl with them, mm-hmm. With John Gruden way back when. But he'll be a Buccaneer. But what he did here in Denver for maybe 4 or 5 years. I think it was 4 years. What goes without saying, he was one of the toughest safeties the city has had. I still wish that he was the GM here. I hope maybe San Francisco falls apart in some shape or form, and Kyle Shanahan comes back home, John Lynch comes back home, and that just would be the dream scenario. Because Kyle Shanahan, like I said, went to our high school, went to Cherry Creek, and John Lynch has ties to the city. I think if those two were leading this Broncos team, this team would be taking off to the new heights.
They seem to be pretty happy in San Francisco.
I know. Maybe something blows up.
You want Vance Joseph over Kyle Shanahan?
No. I did not say that. No.
That's what happened.
I never said that.
I'm not saying that you.
The idiots of management did that.
The fan base. I mean,
because they didn't want Mike Shanahan legacy with Kyle Shanahan, which was an idiotic move.
It was not a good.
Don't say me. Don't do it ever because I
represent Broncos country on this podcast.
I represent Broncos country and saying that we do not like Vance Joseph. And that it's the same mentioning with Josh McDaniels. It was 2 years, 2 bad years we forget about. Move on over our heads.
And Paxton Lynch was a good pickup in the first round.
Okay, Jim. When's the last time your team won a playoff game?
1991.
Exactly.
Thank you.
We're both in the cell.
I own that. But that's fine. Let's wash our hands in football season. Hey, football season. Look, there we go. Washed our hands in it. That's good now. Now let's move on. Into the sports that are going to be what we dominate pretty much most of the conversation with now. And let's talk about NBA first. Let's go basketball. What's been the big news that has kind of been coming out? I know the Nuggets got close against the Lakers the other night. Adam Silver made a few phone calls and LeBron ended up walking away with the victory.
And somehow the Nuggets got in the bonus with 6 fouls after 4 minutes into the third quarter. Somehow, I don't know how that happened. Somehow,
they're also, as we're recording this, losing 93-88 to the Bucks.
I mean, Bucks are a good team. Look, the Nuggets have their flaws. Don't get me wrong. This team, no Gary Harris for the past 2 weeks now. Jamal Murray has been hurt. We've Will Barton inconsistent play. This team has to find their identity. They have to find their identity because right now it's Nikola Jokic, 50 feet of crap. And everyone else. Because right now, the only person that's willing us to any wins these days is Nikola Jokic. Mm-hmm. Torrey Michael Porter Jr. has had some good games, but he's been hot and cold. Like I said, Will Barton is the most inconsistent player I've ever seen in a Nuggets uniform. Paul Millsap has been hot and cold. Jamal Murray has been nagging every injury in the book for about a month now. I mean, like I said, the only other consistent player outside Jokic has been Monte Morris.
Yeah, Monte's been good.
And you gotta get PJ Dozier back, and you have to see what you have in RJ Hand. You have to see what you have. Because with this many injuries, Will Barton is not putting up any numbers. He thinks he's still a number 1 option on this team. He's not a 1, 2, 3, or 4 option. He's the 5th option in the starting lineup, and he should not be starting games. Yeah. This team is terrible defensively. Terrible.
Terrible? Are you going terrible?
Terrible. And the third quarter is some of the worst basketball I've seen in Nugget history. Because you get off to a great start. We led the Lakers a half. We were leading the Bucks after the first quarter. Mm-hmm. But that second, third quarter is just where things just get bad to worse.
It's not been looking good. So what do the Nuggets do at the trade or before the trade deadline? How do they get themselves? Because they should be Western Conference Finals team this year. We thought they were going to have the pieces coming into the season, especially after Jamal Murray's bubble performance. We thought that they were going to be that team. How did they get there?
That's the last thing Jamal Murray has done that's notable was the bubble performance. But obviously, I'm shooting daisies and I want Bradley Beal. Obviously that'd be the number 1 answer that I would love to see.
Is he going to get out though? Because I heard that he might not really like.
Now he doesn't necessarily want to leave, and I don't know why, but whatever. And if you're the Nuggets, you have to get a backup big. You have to in the second group. What Hartenstein? JaMychal Green is a good power forward. He cannot guard another team's second best center.
If JaMychal Green was going up against Anthony Davis,
that's a bad news. Bol Bol is not there yet. Everyone thought Bol Bol was going to fill this role, but he still is a stick figure, so he can't fill into that power forward center role. So you have to go out there, maybe get JaVale McGee, yeah. I know Nuggets
Oh,
fans.
boy.
Nuggets fans
Oh,
are cringing
boy.
at that name.
I got a better shot than JaVale McGee.
Yeah, the Nuggets fans are cringing at that name just because of what all the back history of him and the Nuggets. But there's people out there where you can possibly try to figure out like a lower level team that is tanking necessarily, where you can get a backup center or backup power forward that is going to be a defensive imposer. Because Jokic is your offense, but where are you getting defensively? Millsap is not the best defender anymore. You can't guard a wing to save your life.
No, their defense is god awful.
I mean, we're going to keep going back to it every single week, but Jeremy Grant, Torrey Craig, two best defenders are
Could have tried to hold on to one of them.
I mean, like, it's just...
Or maybe, even Plumlee, because Plumlee would be a better defensive presence than what we see on the floor right now.
That's pushing it too. But at least try to do something at the deadline. I don't need a big blockbuster, but try to get what you can at the backup center position. Because right now, we're wasting a career year from Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
Him dropping 47, it was, against the Jazz, and then dropping 50 against the Kings and losing. Against the Kings, obviously he won the game's Jazz, but losing to the Kings with dropping 50, that's unacceptable, man. Like you have to get help. If you would have told me that Jokic drops 50 points against the Kings, I would be asking you, damn, did we beat them by 20 or 30? And we lost by 10.
Yeah.
That's like no help at all. I'm asking again, Tim Connolly. I trust you more than any GM in the state, right up there with Joe Sakic. But you gotta get him some help. Either get Jamal Murray out of his head or get Michael Porter Jr. a solidified number 2 option. Get Will Barton off the floor. Someone sit him down and tell him that his role is no longer a scorer on this team. Someone tell him. Because everyone is watching this. He is a walking turnover. He is not efficient from the field. We have to have some defensive stability, especially with Gary Harris out. Because if Gary Harris is the reason why we're sucky on defense and him not being there, then we're in big trouble.
They're in a worse position than I thought they were going to be at all this season. Let's move on from basketball. We talked a little bit about Bradley Beal maybe not wanting to trade. NHL, the Avs have had a nice little break here. Hopefully that helps out.
The quote-unquote break.
Well, yeah, it's due to COVID protocols and stuff like that. Apparently Minnesota had people on their team that had it. They didn't do anything about it. A whole big thing. But they won't come back until Sunday.
Another quick thing. Sorry, the NBA with KD. That's a whole weird situation too because he played half a game and then he was ruled out with COVID or with contract tasting. Then they ruled him deemed able to play. Played half a game, then they pulled him. So that's a whole another thing. It's weird how they're figuring it all out. I just don't understand why the tests come back in the middle of the game. Yeah. Like, I just don't understand. Include the Wild is a great example of this too. Like it just makes no sense why. Like going back to the Justin Turner and the World Series thing, why does that come out right during the game? Because there's 24 hours in a day. I believe the test comes out in the morning. Right? It's not like they're swabbing their nose 2 minutes before game time. I'm pretty sure they swab them the morning of every game or morning of every practice.
Yeah, and probably before then too.
Yeah, so I don't understand. NBA, NHL, they all got to do a better job with
that. There's a lot of things that they got to learn, and I think they will. But I think this helps the Avalanche, and really, like we said last week, they weren't in a bad position anyways. They're still tied with, I believe, Vegas for the division lead. And they're coming back against the Blues on Sunday, and we saw what they could do to the Blues. I know that it'll be different without McKinnon, but honestly, like we said, just keep McKinnon, bring him back healthy.
It was a blessing in disguise. Like, look, we just missed
a
week of games, so now we can reschedule those if he's back healthy in time. But we just gave the whole team a week off. Yeah, obviously COVID precautionary, but it has to help getting some fresh legs, right?
It ends up working out, and it looks good. The only thing that I'm a little bit wary of now in the NHL, that perfection line in Boston looks pretty good. Marchand, Pasternak is back now, and I can't think of the other guy who's on that line. With Bergeron, yeah. But they're scoring like nobody's business. I mean, Pasternak has 5 goals in the 4 games that he's been back.
Pasta has been unbelievable.
Yeah, it looks scary coming out, especially if they could do that to the teams in the East Division. They're going to be able to do that to whoever they play in the conference semis.
No, they're going to be. I mean, we all predicted them to be up toward the Eastern
I
Conference.
picked him at 6.
You picked them at 6. I thought they'd still be near the top. Obviously, the Chara loss hurts them a lot, but either way, they've been putting on a great performance. Right now, it's great to see. Like you gotta be positive. You gotta look at this like, yeah, they're scoring a lot of goals right now. But when it comes to playoffs, what can your defensive goaltender do? Because Tuukka, who knows what you don't know what you're gonna get from Tuukka Rask every night, and that may hurt them in the long run. So that's where it's going to be hit or miss this Boston team. And that's the same thing that goes for the Avs too.
That game 3 against Tampa last year in the playoffs, I think it's the game that they kind of decided they wanted to let Chara go. Tampa was just flying right past the defense. It was not pretty. So there's something to be said about getting rid of kind of, I'm not going to call Chara dead weight because he did have a lot of other things that he brought to the floor, but he was basically dead weight at that point. When you have Braden Point flying down the ice, the Florida man version of Nathan McKinnon, Chara's not going to keep up with him. Chara's not going to keep up with Kucherov being able to pass it between his legs, up off, bounce it, and then knuckle puck it and go in. It's just not going to happen anymore. But hopefully the NHL kind of figures themselves out, like we said, along with the NBA and the COVID tracing and everything like that. Now we have another UFC pay-per-view coming up. We didn't bring Rev in and we should have brought him in for this one because Kamaru Usman is a Nigerian champion. He loves his Nigerian fighters. We finally get to see him fight Gilbert Burns. And I thought Gilbert Burns was getting this chance a little bit too premature, but then going back through some of his record, it makes a little bit of sense. But before we get to them, is there any... I think the Kelvin Gastelum fight is probably the other most entertaining fight. Other than that,
I like the Basie Barber fight. Last time she fought was when I was at the Cowboy versus Conor McGregor fight, and she's a young up and coming stud. So I think she could make some noise here. So that's another fight that I'm looking forward to. But Usman versus Burns, this fight should have happened. I forgot what month it was. It was either July or it was. And beginning of
I think it was August.
August, yeah. But that's going to be a great fight. Obviously, it's not the moneymaker that everyone loves to see, but this is a fight that's really is going to show a lot because Gilbert Burns is no slouch, and both former teammates too.
Yeah, they know each other pretty well. And Gilbert Burns is one of those Brazilians who's actually pretty good on his hands too. Mm-hmm. He's a Muay Thai more than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that bodes well against Kamaru Usman, who's much more of a wrestler base, where he's the classic ground and pound wrestler. He doesn't want to be on his feet all that much. He's not that dynamic on his feet, and he wants to take you down and bully you because he's an absolute animal, especially at 170 pounds. I think he walks around at 210, 215, very shredded, and then he gets down to 170 pounds. Who knows how? He can't run. He's got so many knee problems that he can't run, so for his cardio, he just rides the assault bike, and he doesn't get tired during a fight. That's going to be the one thing. He's been in these 5-round fights before. Gilbert Burns has not been in a main